Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1999 Honda Torneo SIRT. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Torneo because we never got it here in the United States. This is a very odd car because it's kind of an Accord, it's basically an Accord, but it's also not an Accord. So we're going to be talking about why that is, what this is, and all of the goodies that go along with it. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to Nomad Imports here in Flint, Michigan for letting me borrow their Honda Torneo SIRT. They have lovely inventory that you should definitely check out. If you're into JDM stuff or generally imported vehicles, they are some of the best to do it. So please go check them out with the information down in the description below. But let's get back to that F20B under the hood. Well, it's not quite the S2000 engine. It's a similar block and family to the S2000 that we got here, the F22C, but this still has some good credits to its name. It is a dual overhead cam engine, and it makes about 197 horsepower. It's very rev happy. However, I won't be revving it out today. This current vehicle is actually due for a timing belt service, and I want to be mindful of that. But it revs past 7,000 RPM. This was a sporty version, essentially, of the Accord. And we'll talk more about that with the final thoughts segment, but that is pretty noticeable while driving it. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It feels wonderful in that very Honda way. It's very confident, very forgiving. It's just overall lovely. And, of course, it is front-wheel drive since this is based off of the Accord. How does it feel to drive? All right, that's my one pull that I'll do. And that was a very timid one at that. I forgot to mention, it is a VTEC engine as well. And VTEC kicks in, at like 5,500 to 6,000. So you do feel it up at the top end, which is lovely. Overall, I kind of like the size of this car. It's bigger than the Civic, which I enjoy, but it's also still not what I would consider a big car. And that shifter is just money. The VTEC is very fun to play with, and nearly 200 horsepower in a car like this is plenty to have fun with, and that is what I like to see. Visibility is great. It's a 90s car. It has thin A-pillars. Ride quality is economical. Very Honda Civic, Honda Accord of the same era for very obvious and clear reasons. And overall, this is a very pleasurable driving experience. I could drive this car all day and night. I would love to own one of these myself. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, in the center is the speedometer, and off to the right is the coolant temperature and fuel. The steering wheel has been replaced with a non-factory unit. This brand is called Personal, and I like their wheels. I've driven several of them. I tend to like them. Off to the right, we do have a climate vent, our fog light switch, and a couple of dead switches, as well as a little cubby down below. And moving on to the door, we have power locks, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we have 2 more climate vents. We have our climate controls, has a nice little readout, and we also have auto climate controls, which was nice for 99. And we do have a big cubby that slides out. Love to see that. And down below, we have an aftermarket radio with some aftermarket cubby space for free box and drink holder. And then we have the shifter. I do like the shift pattern off to the right. Like I said, very stable shifter, very Honda shifter. I love to see it, love to feel it. One of the best, if not the best in the game. I think Honda does it really well. And then we do have a big cubby, which you can slide out little dividers for the cup holder. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And this fails, but Japan was late to the cup holder game, so it's nice to see any accommodations literally at all. Then we do have the handbrake, center console, and the seats. The seats are cloth. They are very warm, very inviting, especially on this rainy morning. They are lovely. They are lovely 90s seats that I just love to see. And so I've really been enjoying them here in the Torneo, whatever you want to call it. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1999 Honda Torneo SIRT, and a couple of things to note. First of all, it is a small car, but I fit back here pretty well, and I was not anticipating that. The design of the seats carries on back here. I love this 90s design with the tiny little touch of wood accents. I do get an ashtray, but no rear vents, no rear amenities beyond that. We do have a center console, 2 cup holders in there. And again, this interior is just so nice and warm. Maybe it's because it's raining here today, but I just want a bowl of mac and cheese and to curl up and watch SpongeBob SquarePants, just like the old days back here. I love this fabric, I love this material, and I just love the ambiance that it gives you. It's a very warm and welcoming. It says it's okay. It kind of shushes you to sleep. Probably because it is raining too today, and it's kind of gloomy, and that's just, you know, kind of a stay inside and watch TV kind of day. But we're in a really fun Japanese car, so we're gonna enjoy that more. Let's hop into the trunk, we'll take a quick look at that, and then we'll talk about the looks. So interestingly enough, there's like no exterior trunk popper. So pop it down there and then come around and you can pop it up. There you go. That is the trunk. Nothing special, crazy, or interesting. We do have some roadside assistance things over there. We can pull this up, and look at that. We do get a spare tire. However, it is not a yellow spare tire of shame like a lot of JDM cars have. A lot of JDM cars, they paint their spare tires yellow to try to shame owners into getting it fixed, but not found here in the Torneo. Oh, you know what I just noticed just now? It's a sedan with a rear wiper. That's kind of cool. Japan loved doing that, but not really found on American cars. Very, very interesting. Now we got to talk about the looks. I love the look of it, mainly because the fact that it does look like a Honda Accord, but not. Like it's an alternate universe Honda Accord, and honestly, that's not far from the truth of what it is. The tail end of it, 100% Accord. That is not beating the Accord allegations anytime soon. However, the front end does look and feel a little bit special. This is the Accord platform, so it all makes sense. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 1999 Honda Torneo SIRT? Well, it's been an absolute lovely experience, and honestly, a better experience than what I was anticipating. I thought, yeah, manual Accord, that's gonna be fun for sure, but I didn't know how fun. The buzziness of that F20 is so good, and the VTEC up at the top is so intoxicating. I want to keep hitting it. If it weren't for that pesky timing belt, I would be bouncing it off the rev limiter every waking moment. And so if you buy one and you fix your timing belt, you're going to be able to do that. These are very reliable, they're very fun, and it's just a good drive. I like it because it is bigger than the Civic, but again, not too large. It gets the job done. It's everything I want and nothing that I don't. I truly have a new favorite in the stable, and this is it. This is just an incredibly fun drive. And it's not enough to get you in trouble. If you're a novice, you've never owned a JDM car, you've never owned a performance car or sports car, or maybe you've never even owned a car, this eases you into it. It doesn't punish you for missing a shift. You can drive it as slow as your grandmother and it's going to be happy as a clam. You can drive it 10/10ths on your way to Aldi and it's going to work well. That is a beautiful thing. However, what the heck is this? Why isn't this a Honda Accord? Well, we have to dig into Honda's history a little bit. So back in the late 80s and early 90s, a lot of the Japanese automakers started to diversify their dealership system. Believe me, it gets more interesting. They started to split off certain dealerships to target certain markets. Honda had 3 different dealership streams: Verno, Primo, and Clio. Verno was the sporty and youthful dealerships. These were meant to target younger adults and have things like the Civic Type R, like the S2000, and vehicles of that nature. Those dealerships would just carry products like that. Primo dealerships were small and affordable cars. This is where we got the Honda Todays were sold here, the Honda Actis, K cars, but also regular Civics and economy-based vehicles. The Honda Life was also sold here. And then you had Clio, which was the luxury and upscale dealerships. These had the Accords, these had the nice kitted out step wagons, and vehicles like that. This car was sold at the Verno and Primo. This was sold to younger adults, sport-oriented, and things like that. And so that's why they took an Accord and tried to differentiate it, because these were actually sold at different dealerships than the Accords, to try to capture a different market, to try to capture a different demographic. And I think they did that semi-well. This is actually a very fun car to drive, where the Accords of the era that I've driven from this time period, they're not fun, but they're definitely less fun. They're not nearly as buzzy. They didn't really come with stick shifts, and if they did, it was more an economy-based stick shift. This was fun. This was something that was special and outside of the box. And so, yeah, it shares most of its parts with Accords, but it is different. And Honda fundamentally made them different, which is very, very cool. So, if anything else, A, I have a new dream car, but B, you learned a little bit about 90s Japanese dealerships. And that bubble ended up bursting in the early 2000s when the economic bubble of Japan burst, and they decided to consolidate. It was kind of confusing what was sold where, and you go to one Honda dealer in one town, and then they didn't have the same cars as the Honda dealers in another town. It's very confusing, so they ended up getting rid of that system, and Toyota and Nissan both did this as well, and Mazda did it a little bit too. So there you go. Fun little fact for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Nomad Imports here in Flint, Michigan for letting me borrow their Honda Torneo for today's video. They're absolutely wonderful. They have really, really cool and interesting inventory. Please go do yourself a favor. Check out what they have in the description below. You won't regret it. And if you're into imported cars, they are an absolute candy store. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really like it. Take care, guys.